Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. It's February the 18th, 2026. We're already halfway through February. What's going on? I hope you're all doing well. I'm Myles Dyer. Welcome to Myles Dyer Live, where every week we talk about all sorts. Although I do cover VR a lot on this channel, VR is something I don't really talk a lot about on this particular show. But today we're going to make a very, very special exception because VR is being spoken about quite a lot at the moment. I mean, it happens every few months. You get these stories about, like, is VR dying? Should we be more optimistic? Like, do platform holders actually care about the VR community? Is there money to be made in VR at all? And it's been happening all over again. Obviously, the start of the year saw a bit of a shake-up in terms of Meta's priorities, in terms of where they want to put investment. And there have been the closure of some significant studios. It's been incredibly sad to see. And then so people naturally are saying, is there a future for VR? When actually many people, myself included, would think that it's more of a realignment. It doesn't take away from the fact that it's, of course, a shame to see such studios shut down. But there are cycles whenever there are these emerging technologies. And we'll be talking a bit about that today. But I want to say a massive hello to everyone in the live chat. I hope you're all doing good. It's good to see you here, Damien, Rough Talk, Cussman, Salvador, Sheeby Street. This is the problem, is YouTube has basically removed it now, so I can't actually see people's actual names. It's gone back to their usernames, but it's good to see you all there. We've got a poll in the chat as well to find out what you're thinking about VR. Do you think we're cooked, or are you feeling a bit optimistic about it? And people are going to have all sorts of opinions, so as always, feel free to share. Just be respectful. I know you all are. And then the only other thing I'm going to talk about before cracking on is I did something at the weekend that I've been meaning to do for ages, and it's called batch content creation. I am such a hypocrite when it comes to social media. I work in the industry, but by the time I get to my own socials, I'm too exhausted to do anything. But the best thing you can do when it comes to social media, in particular video, is what's called batch creation. And it's not that on a day you come up with an idea, you script it, you film it, you edit it. What you do is you spend a few hours one day coming up with lots of ideas, maybe like content pillars, like I'm going to do 5 of this video, I'm going to do 5 of this. And then another day, you just do all the scripting. And then another day, you do all the filming. And that's what happened for me on Sunday. And then I did the filming on Monday. And so today I did a YouTube short. It's on Instagram and everything, where I basically give recommendations. It's pretty fast paced. I've actually got 4 of them made at the moment, so those are going to go out every week. I've got some funny, like memeable, I sound so cringe saying this, like relatable sort of social commentary on VR, which are kind of amusing. And then of course I'm going to do like highlights of my Let's Plays once I start getting back up with them at the moment. But I will say to everyone watching right now, if you use Instagram or you use TikTok and you care about VR and like you consume VR content, give me a follow, because X, I think, is very easy to connect with the VR community. That's where a lot of the conversation is happening. TikTok takes a bit more of getting into those algorithms, especially when I do PSVR 2 specific pieces, and also on Instagram as well. So my links are in the description of this video. Do check it out. Would really, really appreciate a follow and like, and obviously watch them to the end, all that good stuff. And then finally, a massive thank you to everyone for all the kind messages yesterday. It was my birthday, turned 39, and how did I spend it? I worked, and I had to deal with a broken dishwasher, which was pretty fun, which is not fixed, and I've now got to get it fixed on Saturday. It was actually expiring its warranty just 3 days from now, so I was very lucky it broke now and not, I guess, in 5 days. So yeah, definitely enjoying the world of adulting, but I really, really appreciate all the wonderful messages. And actually, I did get from one of my close friends this birthday card, and I had a flashback, because when I was a kid, I had a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles birthday card, and it's very, very cool. Although, I don't know if you know this, my American friends, but in the UK, growing up, this was not actually called Teenage Mutant Ninja. It was called Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. If you look at the theme tune, they actually sing Hero Turtles, because Ninja was seen as being too violent. The whole show was still the same. They were still fighting and kicking ass. But yeah, that's what it was called over here. Hero Turtles, but it's, of course, Ninja Turtles. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. Do hit the like button. Do subscribe if you haven't already. It's wonderful to have you as a part of this channel. Today, I'm joined by the co-founder of the VR Game Showcase. Wonderful, wonderful human being. Give it up for Jamie Feltham. I'm bringing you up on screen now. Ta-da!
Hello. Yeah, good. Thank you for the lovely intro. I was miles away because I was fact checking you on the hero statistic, which I didn't know.
There we go. I was actually going to bring you on and ask you if you knew that.
No.
And if you just watch it now, because I remember, I don't know when it first came to mind. It must have been a conversation with an American friend, and I was like, "Oh, I love Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles," and they're like, "Hero," and it's like, but that's just so weird. It's like such a, like, the fact they had to redub the singing bit, like, that just seems so high effort. But
this doesn't. This is the crazy thing about this is it doesn't live in my memory. I watched this quite a lot as a kid, and I've grown up still singing the ninja part.
Oh, you did you? Okay.
So, so I've clearly been getting it wrong since my childhood.
There we go. Oh God, I pressed the space button again. You get more applause. What TV shows did you watch as a kid? What were your top cartoons?
Oh, yeah, good question. So these days I'm a huge Marvel nerd, but like when I was a kid, I wasn't like a big one. Not till I was like 14.
Okay.
Digimon was my thing.
Oh, okay.
Huge. Like to this day, I'll go down the well with Digimon, to my great shame. Like it was the kind of thing where like all the kids are into Pokemon. I was obviously into Pokemon, had the cards, and the games, everything like that. But then like when you wanted to get like really into the nerdy stuff, it was.
Did you watch Pokemon as well?
Yeah, but I mean, like
that was a bit of the battle when it came out, wasn't it? It was like, do you watch Digimon or Pokemon? I think my brother watched Digimon. I was definitely Pokemon.
Thematically, way deeper. I'm going to tell
what Digimon was.
Oh, dude!
Yeah.
Like the first movie, like compare that to Mewtwo, the Mew versus Mewtwo movie.
Yeah.
Leagues apart. Let me tell you.
Oh wow. Okay. Maybe I have to go down memory lane and check that out. I watched The Real Ghostbusters.
Okay, yeah.
That was great. And there was one particular episode that scared the shit out of me to the point that I burst into tears. My dad had to turn it off. And then I turn it on again a bit later, and then the monster was still. It was basically, you can look it up online. I'm not going to do it now because I'll get probably a copyright claim, even though it's old. But it was called like it was it was like the Boogeyman, and it was basically the story was the Boogeyman wasn't a ghost, so the Ghostbusters couldn't trap him. The most evil voice, Jamie. Honestly, like I watch it now and go, how was that a kid's show? Like genuinely terrifying and horrifying, like creepy. So someone in the chat, Chester, Thundercats. I watched a bit of Thundercats. I wasn't a huge fan, but like, great theme tune.
A little before my time. We're very close age wise. I'm 35. You're now 39. Happy birthday, by the way. But Thundercats like was always kind of like it's very 80s, like you know, like really embedded 80s. Always liked it. I have an older brother who's about your age, and he liked it a lot too. But I was never like massively into it.
There was also the Captain Nintendo. Did you ever know of that?
Captain Nintendo. I remember the Super Mario cartoon.
Yeah, so I don't know if that. Yeah, it was. I don't know if that was. Maybe it was separate. So Captain Nintendo went in, and I think Link was in it, and then there was other characters. I probably saw a few episodes, and then there's Art Attack. Did you watch Art Attack?
Oh hell yeah, he's back.
Americans.
Now. He's in an advert.
Is he really?
I think it's like Muller Fruit Corner.
Well, you know he was a bassist in a metal band.
Was he?
Yeah, he was like a metalhead. I knew that growing up. Yeah, he was a bassist in a metal band. Neil Buchanan? American friends, you don't know what you're missing out with. Art Attack. But there's a conspiracy theory about it, which I'm going to mention it and we can look it up later. You remember the statue of the head in it, the character, the talking head?
Yeah.
There was, I don't know if it's like in his eyebrows or something, but it spells out, I think, a rude word. Like the way it's carved. And like you look at it now and it's like, okay, that was one of those things where they could get away with it.
Is it like one of those things where like when you watched it on like an old CRT back in the day, like you couldn't really work it out, but now someone out there has probably done like a 4K restoration of Art Attack, and it's just like really obvious.
What was the? I'm actually going to just
weird
look.
Looking dude, the statue.
Oh, absolutely.
Never really got him.
What was the message? There we go. Let's have a look at him.
But it was a great little inspiration, that show.
Oh yeah, it had the word sex carved in its head. So I know everyone watching it. Here we go. Oh my god. Of course it's on.
He had the word sex carved in his head.
Yeah. Okay, right. I'm gonna take a screenshot and just pull it up on screen. Just because. Right. Let's. This is from. Oh, this was from last week. Let me just pull it up here.
Don't see the word sex in that image.
Yeah. Oh god, where did I put the screenshot? So here we go. So everyone wondering.
Oh my god.
Anyone watching this right now going, I thought we were talking about VR. We're going to talk about VR very shortly. So the head was a talking head in Art Attack. And just to let you know, guys, the one on the right, they've drawn over it. It doesn't. But on the left, you can see it. Yeah. They're just unapologetic.
And years later, we're like, what?
Yeah. I was wondering what that red was on his head.
Wow.
There you go.
That's inspired. That's,
there we go.
and that's very much in theme with the show of, being expressive and creative. I feel like if that ever got brought to court, it'd be dismissed on the idea.
Absolutely. They'd be like, oh, what a legend. He was a legend back then. Yeah. American Friends, did you have a show in America similar to Art Attack? Because the big thing was, I don't know if it actually had a certain name of that part, but he famously would have an overhead camera. This was before drones existed. And he would make a gigantic Art Attack where, for example, I think one was he went to a dry ski slope and he had all these like ski clothes and he would lay them on the floor. And so from the from up above, it looked like a skier, but it was made out of ski clothing. So he would always make these massive pieces, but it was great.
Don't make them like they used to.
No, they don't. Oh, Morph, absolute classic.
Oh, legend.
I'm glad some British institutions like Wallace and Gromit getting VR games and in the Wallace and Gromit walkabout mini golf course. You played it?
Oh, that's super cool. I have played that. I play that with my niece every once in a while, and I just really, really love that course.
Yeah, was it not the Christmas just gone, the one before? There was the new Wallace and Gromit movie, so watched it and then got our VR headsets. And me and my parents went in and played the course, and it was great. So like cool. To go into that world and stuff, really cool.
Yeah.
Jamie, man, thanks for coming on, dude. So for those who don't know about you and your craft, tell us about the VR game showcase. I mean, it showcases the VR game showcases.
The showcase the plural of whatever showcases. The many.
When did it start? Now. It was 2024, or was the first one in 2025? Yeah, it was 2024.
First show was August 2024. So for anyone that hasn't seen my face on the internet before, I used to work. The guys at Upload VR started what has now become the Upload VR Showcase back in 2019. That was when E3 was still a thing.
Oh my goodness, was that the overlap? Wow.
Yeah. First show we ever did was called E3 VR. We did it in 2019. Yeah, and it was back before everyone realized that showcases can be quite a good like anyone can have a good go at making them, really. And we did it when there were like 5 showcases the entire year. It was like PlayStation, PC Gamer, Xbox, and us, which is funny because it was me filming in my living room before COVID when that sort of thing wasn't really acceptable.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's so.
But yeah, no. So after that, I spent a couple more years at Upload. We developed the showcase into something that's really, really cool. Still going today, and I spent a lot of time couple of other studios, and around late 2003, a lot of VR studios kind of got together and said, hey, we'd like to make like a new showcase that's kind of focused on like just the kind of stuff that we're working on. We want it to be this kind of more curated kind of list of developers that take part in it. And I was working at Fast Travel Games on the marketing side at that time, and I was kind of in this meeting and like thinking, should I do this? So I kind of like called around everyone after we'd had our big meeting and said, hey, if I like tried to like, instead of you going with like a bigger studio to make something like this, if like I kind of like broke off and tried to like get this thing running on my own steam, would it be something that you would support? And stupidly lucky that everyone did. And so we did the first show all the way back in August 2024, just ahead of Gamescom, where a lot of the games that we had were then on show at the event. That show ended with the Flat to VR guys making their first big slate of announcements, which was cool. That was Flat Out and Wrath and RoboQuest and Trombone Champ, loads of really, really cool stuff. And then last year we ran 3 normal types of shows. We did a couple of bits here and there on the side as well. But we've just found as the industry's kind of progressing and developing and everything like that, it's not even like you're trying to represent one particular genre or one particular platform. We're trying to do well by like an entire medium almost. With the showcase, so we moved them up to be pretty regular now, and they air. We call it seasonal. They'll be seasonal this year, right? We'll have one in spring, we'll have one in summer, we'll have one approaching the autumn or the fall, and we'll have one in winter as well. And the whole point of them is really, really cool, really, really hype showcases for VR. If you're into gaming and you watched the State of Play that PlayStation put out last week, and me and Myles were just talking about a really, really great show with really, really great announcements from studios like, games like God of War and Castlevania and things like that. That's what we want to do for VR, essentially. We want to make these great hype headline moments that get people really, really excited about the future. If you don't have a VR headset, then you're thinking about picking one up, because in the next like 6 months, you're going to get like 10 to 15 really, really cool releases. And if you already have one, you know which store to head to, what to wish list, everything like that. So that's kind of the driving force behind it.
Dude, I mean, as Gamer Tags in the chat, good to see you, dude, was just saying, can't believe it's 2024, like just how time has flown. It's really interesting because, like, without going into too much detail of like my background, was when I started actively like being involved in the content side of VR, it was just before PSVR 2 came out, because I went to Fast Travel Games, so that was at the start of 2024. And I remember meeting Nacy, Cass and Carrie, I think Otterworldly was there. Lots of creators that I'd known over the years, but I kind of was a bit of an outsider just because at that point I never played MetaQuest. Actually, the Fast Travel Games studio was the first time I'd ever put a MetaQuest headset on, and my first MetaQuest game was Ghost Signal, Stellaris game.
Oh yeah,
and very cool.
Yeah.
And I felt like such an idiot because they're like, press this button, and like, you know what it's like when you're doing something now. But the first thing that struck me with it was, oh my god, I'm in a room playing multiplayer. And the thing that still blows my mind about the MetaQuest is the speakers are so great, and yet you can hear everyone else in the room, and you can hear in chat is really good. But like at that moment in time, I felt quite late to the party because I know VR had been out for a while. My brother got me into the first domestic headset, the HTC Vive. I remember him showing me Job Simulator, and I remember my first impression, which seems mental now, which was I could spend the rest of my life in this game, because it was just like the most living in a reality where there's no consequence for your action, or real consequence of throwing stuff, just seemed absolutely out there. And I think something we always think about in VR, and I think this might be a part of the conversation we have a bit later with where we are with VR, is it's truly magical when you first experiencing it. Like depth perception, having a screen for each eyes, when it's haptic feedback, like looking around and seeing it. There's always that feeling of like, okay, but is the novelty going to wear off? And then is it just going to feel like anything else? And I'd be curious to hear your thoughts, because you've been in the VR space way longer than me. Is VR still magical to you?
So yeah, when it's and when it's designed really, really well, it's really, really, really magical still. I think again, we'll get into it later, but like maybe some of the struggles we have are like what games are being made, and are they like fully embracing like the whole like potential of the headset. But like, for example, last week or a couple of weeks ago, I put on Twitter that like I'd taken Christmas off of VR. Like I was like, you know, like I'm done with showcases for the year. We'll do our next one in like around March time, and I'm just gonna take a break, not play too much, and I'll start to catch back up with it later on. And in that time, Bootstrap Island put out their most recent update. Really, really great survival game on PC, coming to PSVR 2 soon. And it was just like I played it for an hour, and I was just walking along like these lovely beaches into the deep forest, doing all this great combat, doing all these like really immersive survival techniques, like grabbing coconuts, smashing them on the wall to break them into, then like sipping them and stuff like that. And like it's just, that's one of those moments where I'm still thinking, oh man, this is just the coolest stuff, and it's still so much further to go with it. I think one of the crazy things about what you're talking about, like about trying job sim for the first time and everything like that was everyone back in 2016 or 2015 and everything like that, right? Like everyone was putting it on thinking this is going to change the world. And so would we have all predicted that 10 years later we're in this kind of like you know, like different wave of talking about if it is ever going to really catch on? No, I don't think anyone would have thought we'd be here at this point in time, but I still fully believe it has the potential to do that going forward.
Yeah, I think you're right. And also VR, when I go really far back, the first time I ever experienced VR, it was at Sega World in London. Did you ever go to that?
Yeah. No, I never did, but I've heard a lot about it.
So, I mean, it was basically you were paying to go inside an arcade where you then pay a pound coin to go in all the machines. Yeah. But they did have these, like, I think it was like these £3 or £5 rides, which were like bigger experiences. And I did look it up, actually. They did have these Sega World VR headsets games. Do you know what? I'm going to see if I can find it. But it was basically like a movie theatre, but you all sat down and you put headsets on, and then you were flying these like spacecraft, and it was very cool. I bet you if you went in the headset now, you'd feel motion sick and stuff.
Oh, for sure. But wouldn't you love to just like give it a go and just like see how like crazy and ropey but I bet you there's still something there.
This was it.
Yeah.
This
like it's amazing though.
I mean, and this was like in the 90s, like so ahead of its time, but sort of VR came forward. And then it stepped away again. And then I did play it it's in downtown Disney in Florida. This is crazy. Because I'm always like, last time I went to Disney in Florida was when Island of Adventure just opened in Universal Studios. Yeah. And I look at it now, and that was in 1999. I'm like, oh my God, it's been that long. But downtown Disney had this VR experience where my brother went in one, I went in one. I think he had like lightsabers. It wasn't Star Wars, but we could see each other in it. And again, I bet if we went back now, it would look terrible. But it was just like, my God, this feels like the future. And then VR kind of went away because it was just not something you could afford to put in the home. Look now, like B Haptic vests. For those that don't know, B Haptics is a company that does these haptic vests with like over 40 points of contact. So it can be used in a lot of different ways. If you get shot somewhere, you feel it doesn't hurt, but you feel impact. Or, although I've not experienced this yet, I've been told there are some games where when you holster a weapon, you can feel it sliding down your back, which like really cool things you can do. The idea that you can have that in your home, all these I'm going to say treadmills, but all those different devices where you can now run on the spot. Like you have that in your home. Like never mind the fact that you have your own VR headset. Like the Meta Quest 3, like £500. When I was playing this weekend, I was telling Jamie, Forefront has just been announced coming to PSVR 2, and so I bought it for Meta Quest, and it's the most fun I've had in VR in a very, very long time. But just thinking right now, and for those that don't know, it's a 32-player like Battlefield VR, so you can go in tanks, in helicopters, jet skis, massive maps, playing against everyone. The fact all of that was happening in a headset here in front of my eyes, and I was able to stream it on my laptop so my friend could see what I'm seeing in the headset all simultaneously. That's just mind-blowing from a technological perspective. And so I'm just so excited to see kind of what comes next. And the last thing I'll say on this is the magic you feel when you first go into Job Simulator. It's the kind of thing with all technology of like what your starting point is. I always I think I talked about it last week as well. When I was a kid, my dad had Doom 2 on his laptop, and he went to his neighbours, and they had this big LAN cable that connected his laptop to his neighbours, and they played Doom 2 co-op. So they were in the first level, and you could see another player. And I was like, what? You're in the same level, and you're able... So when you go around a corner, you're fighting those enemies, and you can fight. That was so mind-blowing. Whereas kids now, it's 100 people jumping on an island in Fortnite, all as your favourite characters from whatever shows. Like, their starting point is so out there. And when I was a kid, I remember saying to my brother, like, can you imagine if, like, one day they did, like, a first-person game, but, like, one of you could go in a tank and one in a helicopter? And we were kind of like, it'll never happen. We were like, what if Grand Theft Auto became, like, online? But then how would that work? Because someone would be chased by police over here, and then what would happen over here? All of this stuff has been done, and, like, kind of the sky's the limit of like what is possible with VR. I think is super exciting, and I think we're barely scratching the surface of its true potential yet. That was a really long ramble, Jamie. Thank you for listening to my TED talk.
No. I don't. It's funny that you said the tank and thing, because I was going to say the same thing. One of my people always ask, what's your like early formative memory of VR and stuff like that. And for me, it's not actually trying VR. I was playing Theme Park World back in like the late 90s on my PC one day, like doing the first person like experience of a ride I'd bought. And like I was like showing my dad, like, look at this, I built this, and he was like, one day you'll be able to do this in VR. And I was like, no, you won't. That's not going to happen in my lifetime. And so for it to have like not only happened in my lifetime, but then for us to be working in it and like pushing it forward is just the coolest stuff. Basically, very lucky.
We live in a time now, and I think especially with what we're seeing with AI and just technology as a whole, is it's no longer a question of if but when. Like the rate of change is so quick, and I do get a bit creeped out when I think about VR games and the ethics behind certain things. So like horror games, I'm not here to get them banned. People think that I'd love that to happen because I hate them, but like Madison VR, for example, exceptional game, without going into any spoilers, but there's something that happens in the game that like on a flat screen is a pretty sensitive issue, but going through it in VR, I'm like, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Because the thing is, VR is very immersive. Like I use my Apple Watch for my heart rate. It gets my heart rate from like an 80 to 140. Like that is having a physiological impact on your body. Like it is actually causing change. And I'm just thinking like the immersion. I mean, we might eventually just do the Matrix stuff. You just plug it into a hole in your head.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, I'm gonna say you'd hope so, which sounds terrible. But like, I mean, there's two things. First of all, you're right. Like, I remember back when Forefront came out. Not Forefront.
Farpoint.
Someone
in the chat was just saying it. Yeah.
And I was going to talk about the spiders in Farpoint.
Oh my god, yeah.
Which for me was like,
they jump at you like that, people.
Yeah. So they
and with depth perception.
They look at you for a second, and you're like, and I'm someone that can't. I like horror as a genre very much. I can't handle the anticipation of a jump scare. That's my big thing. So like, I can watch horror movies at home. I can't really go to the cinema to watch them because it's like here in my face. I'm not able to like pause or anything like that. And so in VR, you've got that that whole thing. And I remember like it just created this very weird like reaction within me of like I'm here enjoying the shooter experience, which is really immersive and empowering and really fun. It's got this one single element in it that is scaring me so much and like giving me such a negative reaction that I'm almost wanting to stop playing the game. And I did manage to fight through it, but it was such a weird, conflicting experience at the time of like, not sure a lot of people are like really ready to go a couple of steps beyond Farpoint, you know, and things like Resident Evil 7 obviously ended up doing that in like some really, really extreme ways.
You just reminded me of saying, so there's a clip that I've played on before, but I'm going to show it to you now because I don't think you've seen it.
Is it a Madison clip?
No, it's not. So there was a game that was an indie game by one person called like Pickleball VR.
Right.
Very like, I have to say the indie developer is dedicated. Like he's constantly doing updates and he's listening to feedback. But there's all these like game modes in it. I'm just going to see if I can find this.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a zombie mode in it, and I thought, zombie mode, that's really cool, right? I'm going to go to this this scene. It's going to play a random video from before. Oh, a classic PlayStation ad. We're not going to watch this though. So this is the clip from
Vault today.
Oh my god. So this is the zombie mode I select, and it goes somewhere I didn't expect. Here we go. So you have all these game modes.
I feel like I'm gonna jump.
Whoa.
Oh.
It was the most realistic thing. I was like, wasn't expecting this.
I was not expecting this.
Couldn't pick them up. And then spiders start coming from everywhere.
Oh no.
And they look real.
Oh, in the shadows.
Somewhat weird.
Anime girl.
And they were climbing up.
Multiple anime girls. PlayStation menu. Oh no.
What?
It was easier to close it.
No, that is fucking horrible. That is the worst.
Yeah. I was like, it was so bad. And the dev was watching. He was like, oh, wow, I made that for my son. He liked it. You're meant to pick up this. I was like, I'm not doing that again. Like, that's when it's real horror. When there's only one other game that's made me close the game down and go. And it was Subside, which is an amazing game. Have you played Subside?
The underwater game.
Beautiful
game.
game.
I haven't actually played yet.
Oh, dude, it's one of the best looking games in VR. So you're out in the ocean and stuff. There's one where you can swim with whales.
Right.
But one of the trophies, because I'm a trophy hunter, is you got to swim out to this buoy out, like really far out. So I'm swimming all the way out, and I'm sort of like head above the water, kind of fine. Looking down, it's just deep ocean. And as soon as I got to the buoy, the feeling of dread with this wide ocean, I couldn't go to a menu and look down. I had to like exit out of it. It was just so intense. Also, there were sharks in the distance. That game is amazing. It has a shark cage in it as well. Like and you can. The mistake I made was I swam out the shark cage because it's all based on where your hands are. So I thought, oh, my body's in here, and I went to touch the shark, the great white. And as I did that, I swam through the cage. It was amazing. And like, I've shown it to some people, and they're like, "Oh yeah, get me in there with the shark," and they just swim out the cage because in their mind they're like, "This isn't real." And to be honest, I do think for a lot of VR horror games, I could just go in there with this is just a game, like, and
once
probably push.
through.
But I just find that kind of takes the fun. It's like if you watched a horror movie and you just started making jokes about everything. Like, okay, it would be less scary, but then that's not how it's supposed to be consumed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like everything is made up at the end of the day in the world of storytelling and entertainment, right? So you gotta suspend that disbelief a bit and kind of get on board with what it is essentially. The ocean thing again is funny because I remember there's a clip of back when me and Xena were doing streaming for Upload. We had the year before survived a fairly traumatic incident at sea, and then I did a mod for what's the underwater survival game?
Oh, Subside.
No,
not Subside. No, it's my god, Subnautica.
Subnautica. That's it.
Yeah.
And I was swimming and I went up to the middle of the ocean, kind of looked around, just saw these giant waves, and I'm just on stream. And I go, oh god, and just go straight back down, and I'm like, Cena starts laughing. I'm like, okay, let's move on.
Dude, that's hardcore. That's a hardcore game to play.
Yeah.
What's the scariest game you've ever, or the scariest moment in VR that you remember? Is there anything that's...
So there's obviously more recently. There's obviously the bit in Resident Evil 8 with the weird baby creature dude. Have you done Resident Evil 8?
Yeah, I've not got to that bit yet, but that's a pretty hardcore moment. Yeah.
So yeah, and I mean, like in the whole.
Anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, there's just a big like mutant baby that's crying and it's chasing you, and there's dead ends, aren't there? So you can get cornered, and you basically have to crawl under a bed at one point, wait for this big like. It's just a big blob of a baby, mutant baby crawling around. It's horrible, and it eats you.
I had to watch 5 minutes on YouTube, then go and play it, so I knew what was happening. Watch 5 minutes on YouTube, then go and play it, so I knew what was happening. And I think I maybe even played the flat screen bit first, just to be like, like what's going to happen here. So that was horrible. And then another great moment was I had playing Resident Evil 7. I did just one of those moments where like it wasn't even like a scripted jump scare, but I turned around and one of the leech monsters was just in my face, and I let out a truly deafening shriek.
It's the personal space, isn't it? It's
Have
you played Alien Rogue Incursion?
Yes.
Did you get to that scene?
Oh yeah. That's one of the best moments in anything ever. Pretty much though. So like the thing with Alien is as scary as it gets, you're also like, oh, this is so goddamn cool.
Yeah, right. Oh, man,
so
I need to get back to it.
Bit of that.
I actually haven't played it since the update to the AI, because they're coming out in like waves, and supposedly it feels a lot more sinister now, which is pretty cool. Man, we could talk about just VR generally. Let's get to the state of the industry, which we have been talking about a lot anyway. I mean, just to hit things dead on to begin with, I touched upon it at the start of this live stream. I think what's happening at the moment in the industry is there's been a bit of a realignment. We've had studio closures happening at the start of the year. There's a lot of concerns about like delays of headsets. There's always talk about like how many headsets have been sold, and obviously Meta has reprioritized some of its funds, but is still a significant investor in the space. And so I think naturally people just straight away go, VR is already fragile. Does this mean the end? There's this feeling of like a lot of VR is subsidized, I always say, by the goodwill of the publishers, by the content creators that cover it, by the gamers. They're shouting about it the most, and there's always a sense of why aren't the platform holders, doing more? My main point is always just look at what's happening in flat screen gaming. There's closures. Like, look at some of the big flops in gaming, or like Bungie, such a massive studio, and now there's questions about Marathon. Like, this is Bungie we're talking about. Look at what has happened with Xbox that shut down these massive studios. Even of what was the skating game that won awards and then they closed down?
Well, that wasn't like last year.
Yeah, I think it was last year or maybe the year before.
Skating game?
I thought it was a skating game. Not skating, roller skating.
Roller Dome.
Jet Set Radio. Was it Jet Set Radio? No, Roller Champions. No, it was Jet Set Radio.
Ollie.
Ollie.
No, that's what you mean.
No, I was talking about Jet Set. I think Jet Set Radio. I think it was for Xbox. So don't know who in the chat.
Maybe you're right.
I don't know. We can just name lots more games. Ollie was one, but it wasn't the one I was thinking of. I think it was Jet Set Radio. It won loads of awards, and then it's Roller Drome.
Yeah, Roller Drome. Yeah,
sorry,
but that's the same team as Ollie.
Oh, okay. I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, don't.
Cool, there we go. We got there in the end after lots of umming and ahhing. But my point is that there is already so much fragility, and like take PlayStation for an example. I've always told people, PlayStation doesn't have a PSVR 2 marketing division. They have a marketing division, and they go through cycles of, for this campaign, we're going to be promoting the Portal. Now we're going to be doing PlayStation Plus. And if you consider, and the number I always throw around is like, let's just say 2% of people that own consoles own a PSVR 2. Let's just say that's what the number, or even 1%. are PlayStation better spending their money increasing the percentage or increasing the sales of the PS5? Because the more people that have a PS5, that 1 or 2% is then an end result, because then people make the next step to get a headset. And so in terms of like priorities, it's always going to be at the top end. Meta's a bit different because it's they make VR first, but then there are other things they're now investing in. And so it becomes about priorities. And so for me, and obviously I want to hear your thoughts before we go into the major discussion, is I think that, yes, there is volatility, there is ups and downs, but progress is not a straight line. It sort of goes in ebbs and flows. And when you look at where VR was even 3 years ago, the amount of games and the hardware we've got is phenomenal now. Like, we often, when I worked at The Guardian, I mention this a lot, the tech editor would always say that when it comes to technology, we often overestimate the short term but underestimate the long term. And I think that's kind of what's happening here, is we look at a few months and go, oh shit, look at all this stuff that's happened. But then when you look over a year and go, actually, look at the games we were given, it was actually a pretty decent year.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, it's such a complicated issue with VR specifically, right?
Yeah.
Because you've got these really great points you're making in terms of like, I mean, I love what you just said about like overestimating the short term, underestimating the long term. I think that's so spot on and really, really insightful. I think I think it was you and Brian on PSVR about Parole a couple of years ago, like a pretty popular YouTuber kind of like did a video on like why he thought that PSVR 2 wasn't doing as well as some people might have expected it to. And his thing was very much calling back to the classic issues of VR of like isolating, motion sickness, expensive, blah, 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 blah. And I think you've got that as a starting point.
That's true.
You've then got like, so that there's how like the challenge you're facing right now with like this new fledgling technology. Then you've got, let's say, the ideologies and aims of some of the certain platform holders that own and run VR that might not be aligned with, and to be very clear, might not be aligned with what we love. One of the most, the thing I always really want to point out, and I know you know this, and I know lots of people know this, is VR's never been healthier in terms of certain demographics. And the real question is that we are always really talking about is VR ever going to be a thing for us still, like in like a huge thing for us, not like, you know, like the younger audiences that are enjoying Gorilla Tag and things like that. So that you've got like whatever their interests are that can sometimes not align with what we want, and that kind of like compounds the problem even more. And now we're in just this horrific time for technology, for gaming, years of overinvestment in a COVID bubble, making this much of a problem. I'm getting like, it's getting so big I can't keep it on camera, and plus it's like reversed with my hand, so I'm having a hard time.
Do you know what? I can put you on full screen, Jamie. There you go. There you go.
There you go. Look, I do have some set decoration in the room, I swear.
All the way out there.
Yeah. There's some interesting things there. And then you've got, so you've got that problem. Then you've got what's going on with the wider technology market, which probably more than anyone, specifically with Sony, back in the PlayStation 4 era, was able to invest in a peripheral much more easily, like PlayStation 4, because that was a much more stable time in the market. PS4 was super successful. Pricing wise, I think PSVR 1 came out probably at like 100, maybe 150 less than what PSVR 2 released at. And so that has real genuine ramifications on what a company can like legitimately invest into to say to get a return on that investment, right? So that's like one of the like final compounding problems with it. And so that issue, I think, in particular affects Sony very, very much. I think in terms of like Meta, you know, more money than God could really do what they wanted to if they really wanted to. But yeah.
I was just looking up the price of the original PSVR 1. So it was £349 in the UK when it launched, October 2016, 10 years ago. And the US starting price was $399. Whereas PSVR 2, it came out, was it $550?
Yeah, I think it was $550. So it was more expensive than a PS5 when it launched.
Yeah, it had a lot against it, and one of the things was, and it's one of those examples of we know why it happened, but it doesn't take away from the chilling effect it has, and it was the lack of, or the non-existence, backwards compatibility. We understand why they had to make that leap, but it did mean that there were a lot of people that owned PSVR that probably took a gamble on VR, bought all these games, and then they see, oh, PSVR, but now I've got to buy all my games again, none of it's coming over.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not doing that. Like, and it's super, super expensive, and that would have just shook people off. And
yeah, for sure.
The Gorilla Tag thing you mentioned is also important because it's. I just saw yesterday that Gorilla Tag is around 5 years old now. So those gamers are going to grow up, and they're moving into games like, as I said, been playing Forefront. There's a lot of young kids playing that. And that's a pretty mature game. Like, whether they're playing it maturely, that's another question. Whether I'm playing it maturely, that's another question as well. But, like, already, like, that's moving into a mature space. And if Forefront, which I assume is going to happen when it comes out at 1.0 and comes to PSVR 2, I mean, for me, my prediction is when it comes to, like, top 20 PSVR 2 games, Forefront's going to be a top 10 contender, in my opinion. Like, it is so good. That is a healthy sign for VR. But it does mean that you are going to get a lot of games released that you don't think meet up to the challenge. And the conversations around, I know we're talking a lot about PlayStation, but I think it is where a lot of the judgments are made, because PlayStation is a game platform at heart. People were saying, like, Resident Evil Requiem, is that going to come to VR? And assuming that it would only happen if Sony funded it. In my mind, it's like, well, then it's not going to happen, because if Sony are picking and choosing where to fund their money, they're going to be choosing different niches. The horror niche has been taken care of. You've had Resident Evil Village and 4 excellent games. They've done Gran Turismo 7, Aces of Thunder for flying sims. Now they've got, you've got Microsoft Flight Simulator coming over the horizon. All these kind of Hitman. So it's kind of like, I feel like they wouldn't jump back into another horror game. They're going to be looking at what other, like, VR niches could we do so we cater for those audiences. And I think that's a big part of it as well.
Yeah, and I think, like, going back to your point on just, like, it's a hard time for the wider industry, Shuhei Yoshida has obviously given, like, 1 million interviews since he left his position at Sony, and he's been very revealing, and a lot of those, he said things like, the Sony of the PS3 and early PS4 days, where we fund strange little indie projects that would be, like, incubated internally at the Japan studio and stuff like that. Those are no longer viable or interesting for a company like Sony. So if flat screen oddities are no longer, like, really what the company can justify doing, then like, that problem again hugely compounded with VR. And, I know a lot of people would say, well, then why make the headset in the first place? But
right.
They were quite far along with making it by the time we hit a global crisis financially, to be fair to them. So, it's tricky.
Man, and it's going to be all the questions around what the... what is it? Is it chip shortage we're having? And that's going to have an impact. Again, I'm talking a lot about PSVR 2, and I do want to talk more about Quest, but I've always said that PSVR 2 is future-proofed because take a game like Subside or Red Matter 2, when you're looking at objects that close, it looks photoreal. Like, that looks like I'm actually looking at it. It doesn't look like I'm looking through a screen, which shows you the headset isn't the limiting factor, it's the console. And that's not saying that the PS5 Pro is weak. There's a lot of processing that goes into rendering it twice, one for each eye. But it does mean that, like, if a PS6 comes out, they might do a sort of a half, like, or a refresh unit of maybe pancake lenses. That'd be nice. Although I hear you can't do pancake lenses because of the OLEDs. Is it something like that? I've heard.
There's people smarter than me that would probably say yes. I think.
Anyone in the chat
there's a lot of reasons why pancake is really expensive at first.
Yes,
like that's the big thing, and like it's got quite a high failure rate when you like manufacture. I'm sure it's lower than when I last checked, but Yeah, no, and I'm sure there's like some limiting factors with OLED and stuff as well. I do think like just to like revisit that subject, there is a lot of potential in the future of doing a PS6 and saying we don't have to like go back to the drawing board like we did with PSVR 1 to PSVR 2. We can just like come out and say this is the base PlayStation VR for the PS6, and we're going to do a pro model that has like wireless streaming or something like that. And there's those two options. Like again, like if the world was in a better economic state, because one of the other things apart to like touch on as well is that PSVR 1 did really well. It did really, really well. It was for a console peripheral. It sold what, like 10 million units or something like that. I know that doesn't sound anything like a console install base, but that's like a lot more impressive than some of the other peripherals PlayStation. It's probably more the PlayStation moves they sold on the PS3. Probably, I'm just guessing. So I think there are people in Sony and these other companies that know the potential is there. It's just too hard of a time right now to really go all in like they would have been 10 years ago.
What was it that you were saying? The PSVR, was it sold more than the
PlayStation Move on PS3?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's got to.
I'm gonna have to have a quick search and see what it says.
Maybe it didn't, because obviously Move is only a controller. But
that's true.
But I still think it probably. I mean, 10 million units. That's kind of what the Kinect did on the 360 back in the day.
Yeah.
So it's really good numbers.
Man. So to ask the real simple question, and also just want to say a massive thank you to She Beast for gifting 5 Myles Dyer memberships. Thank you very, very much. Where is the applause? Thank you. Appreciate it, and welcome to the memberships, everyone. To put it simply, Jamie, are you optimistic about VR still, or are you jaded?
Yeah. Do you know why I am? And it kind of goes back to what we were saying a bit about the Matrix and stuff like that. We're still putting bricks on our heads and waving 3D mice around with our hands.
Yes.
Like, this is the thing that always, and I have, I've got a lot of friends that are into just pure straight gaming and think VR is a joke, have been predicting the industry is going to fail ever since I joined it. And I'm like, please don't predict that because I work in it. But it's still that. It's still this really rudimentary thing. And I was talking about this with someone recently, and they said, well, the problem here there is that you're talking about all these extra features, but headsets are really going to get like slimmer and lighter first before they go into these other things. But like once you've got like force feedback, like you can have a lightsaber fight and have something stop your hand. When you can like go back and play Blade and Sorcery, you can go back and play any kind of melee game and have that interaction. You could go push a button, you could go play, I don't know, something really tactile, like I'm drawing a blank on that. You remember that puzzle game by Tarzia where your hand was inside the box?
Oh, static.
Yeah, static. Yeah. Like once you can go back and do something like that and have it as a really tactile experience where you're interacting much more intricately than you are now. I thought this was like when we got into this whole thing, I thought within the next 5 years, someone is going to have come up with something so clever and so workaround as a control mechanism for that will have moved past touch controllers and all of this, and we'll be on to the next stage of interacting with VR. And I also thought on a pure software solution, someone out there somewhere was going to figure out something so clever in terms of locomotion that you would be able to do it immersively without sickness. Yes. And I'm really surprised, and again, shows how little I know really, but like I'm really surprised that this far on we haven't cracked those things, and I think that's a big part of what will need to happen for us to start talking about the future of where this technology goes, right? Like when you can revisit not just like your favorite gaming IP and it's in 3D, but you can just really be in the world and really, really interact with it. I think that's going to have a huge, huge effect on like the kind of curve for the industry.
Yeah, it really is about those barriers to entry, and like motion sickness is a big part of it. I mean, I've told this story many times, but I'm going to say it again because it works in the context of this story. But this is why I've been very optimistic as well. It's the whole, like, the seeds have been planted, and once people understand it, it's quite hard to step away from. So 2 Christmases ago, I bought my parents a Meta Quest 3, and they'd always played VR. Like, when I'd come over at Christmas, I'd bring my PSVR 2 and my other Meta Quest, play some walkabout mini golf. But when you play 30 minutes here or there, okay, you get the enjoyment. They love playing Beat Saber, but it's very different from when you leave someone with a headset and they actually get to spend time without an audience to sort of learn the language of spatial computing and what it is to use the UI, and, you know, just take their time and learn with it, like, you know, where to look for certain things. And I already talked about my dad playing Doom 2 when I was a kid. My parents bought me my first console when I was 6, a Sega Master System, and, like, they got me into gaming. And then it's been like 20 years where they just don't game anymore. They play a bit here and there, but not really. And they really enjoyed it. And then this Christmas just gone, I bought my brother a Meta Quest headset. So at Christmas, I'm at my parents', got the headset I bought them, the Meta Quest headset I brought my brother. I've got my Meta Quest headset and my PSVR 2. So the 4 of us are then able to play walkabout mini golf. So we do. Not only that, my auntie, who whenever they visit, had played on my PSVR 2 and enjoyed it. Turned out in November, because I'd showed them it, they bought a Meta Quest headset, her and her other half. So now there are 5 of us playing walkabout mini golf. They had so much fun that my dad ordered another Meta Quest 3, and my auntie, and then, I kid you not, with exception to maybe 1 or 2 nights every 10 days, tonight I missed out, 7 o'clock every night, we're playing a round of walkabout mini golf. We do an entire course. 4 or 5 of us are there, and that is just a part of the routine now. And it's like, it's been a dream for me to connect with my parents through gaming, like when I was a kid, and it's sort of come full circle. And just to go into it even a bit more detail, when we first played walkabout mini golf, I was saying, you know, I have all the courses, but I was like, let's do one of the ones that you own, because then you can find the hidden balls. And my dad's like, oh, I don't care about that. I choose it anyway. And then what happens on the first course? So where is that ball? They are hooked on it now, and now they're doing the fox hunts. And that's the thing, is like all the things that it's understanding the language of gaming. Like for them, it would always be like, that seems. And now you know what it's like in walkabout mini golf finding balls. Some of the ones that you can't find, you're literally thinking, if this was you trying to find something at home, this would be the least fun thing in the world. Like, you're so frustrated, but they enjoy it. And so that kind of thing of just what happened in a year, like, that is the thing about, like, the seeds being planted. So when we see all the people on X being very annoying, myself included, bring this to PSVR 2, bring this to PSVR 2. You might not win Resident Evil 9, but you might be now a part of the conversation, and there might be other developers of a horror game, like single A, double A, like indie, working on a horror game going, there's appetite there. We could make something for it. And so I think, again, going back to that short versus long term, the short term, we're always thinking about when we're taking actions, because we're focused on a specific objective. If that isn't achieved, then we failed. When actually you've got to realise that you're probably progressing in adjacent lanes that you're not kind of aware of. So seeing that experience with my parents and them being completely in the tank. And as I said, my dad started playing VR Tactical Assault. I think I mentioned that before we went on. And then my dad has started playing Forefront with me, and he is like having the best time. He's playing it even when I'm not playing it now. And I'm just like, this is a dream. So that's why I'm kind of optimistic is, like, even if things are shifting in terms of studios and that, and I think the big studio closures are a real shame, but it does now open up the field for sustainable studios to, like, because a lot of those big studios that were closed were naturally first party, which often are funded with money. I have no idea, but assuming they were funded with money that was not recouped on sales of the game, but it's about selling the headsets, right? In terms of in what the objective is, which is fair. But then that means when it's Game of the Year awards or VR Game of the Years, other developers are now getting overshadowed because they're competing against things that were never sustainable in the first place. So I do hope that this means we're entering a phase now where I think MetaQuest probably is going to feel more like PlayStation is, where there will occasionally be these big funded titles from Meta, But for the most part, I think third-party support, which Meta says they're going to be focusing on, hopefully allows those kind of things to flourish.
Yeah, I would definitely hope so. And I think, it's interesting you mentioned like some of the bigger things. It is true that like one of the like I guess curses in gifts and curses of the industry in the last 6 years has been Alex, because ever since Half-Life Alex, people have said, "What's the next game like Half-Life Alex?"
I've still never played it.
Oh, it's really good. You should do that. You should save it. You're saving it though, like for like whatever drought is coming up.
I hear it's still amazing to play now. Like it's
oh god,
still,
yeah, it's
but
insane.
I mean,
it's a Half-Life game.
But is it still?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like an old VR game though. Do you know what I mean? I mean, there might be certain elements.
No, it doesn't. One of the interesting things is it came out at the same time as Boneworks and The Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners. And one of the things, when I reviewed it for Upload back in the day, one of the things I tried to articulate was that if you go play those two games, and they're very highly interactive, very, very, very physical games.
Right.
I came into Alex thinking I can pick up anything in this world, I can solve problems by using the physics, everything like that. And it's actually not that game. It's somewhat like kind of in compared to those kind of dated mechanically shooter. But it's the polish, it's the pacing, it's the immersion and everything like that probably hasn't really been touched on anywhere else. The only thing I was going to say is obviously in terms of winning Game of the Year awards and stuff, like obviously Batman did all of that for the Quest and probably has made its value if it didn't end up selling, and they gave it away with the Quest, so it's a really hard figure to track, but probably has made the value of that game from winning things, getting people to say, hey, you should get a VR headset, it's got Batman. And
right, exactly. So yeah, I'm not doubting that. I'm just saying that if it was judged on how much it sold in terms of the game, which, and again, that's not a criticism of it, it's clearly that's why PlayStation puts all this money, like I don't know, Gran Turismo, it's really hard with hybrid games with PlayStation because when they do the blog post every month of here are the best-selling PSVR 2 games, they exclude hybrid games because they probably could track it, but it's not going to be an exact science. So when you see, like, people always look at the top 10 and go, oh, this dev said they only sold this many, and that's number 8. So these, that came number 2, so what about these? But then you're forgetting about, well, how many people have PSVR 2 that the only games they bought was Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 8, Gran Turismo 7, Hitman. Like that's more than enough content to play for a year. It's obviously very different for us that are covering games. Like we don't have the same behavior as like average consumers. They talk about the majority of people that have a PS5 are buying 1 or 2 games a year, which is the Call of Duties or the FIFA. Like they buy a couple of games. And that's all that, and then they play Fortnite maybe on the side, a free-to-play game. There's probably that with VR. I think VR lends itself to a bit more experimentation because games are shorter. Also, I find that I'm into games that I wouldn't be genre-wise into on a flat screen just because it's a more personal experience in the headset. But I think that we are very different to the average consumer.
Yeah, and I guess one of the things I would say in the long-term prediction that I would ever make is that once VR makes it, whatever that means, it won't be that you're putting on your headset, you're going into an app store, downloading an app, going and playing that app, coming back out and say, what app do I want to play next? For all the heat it gets, and it's not something I'm interested in using at all, but like the Meta Horizons world idea is built on the idea of something that one day might actually make sense and have purpose of, I want to play mini golf, I'm not going into Walkabout, I'm going into what they made inside of that, and I'm seamlessly transitioning between all of these things. And then you're in a world where people are buying this headset, they're still interacting with that whole ecosystem, even if all they want to do is golf, which is probably a very complicated way of working out how to do that sort of stuff. But like I think that's very, very true. Like people will buy it just to play Beat Saber, people will buy it just to do golf, and one day all of these things will exist probably inside some sort of centralized game engine online, something like that makes it a lot more of a inclusive activity for everyone anyway.
That was one of my over optimistic predictions for PSVR 2 when it came out. Was obviously PlayStation Home VR. But also, I just thought that when you start up your PSVR 2, I just wanted it to be that you were in a home. You'd have your trophies on the wall, and like you could then pick up a phone and voice call friends and stuff. I get it. You just want to see the regular menu, and that would be an option as well. But that kind of seamlessness thing hasn't really happened yet. And actually, that was the fundamental disagreement between Mark Zuckerberg and John Carmack just before John left Meta. He says that to make the metaverse, you make a really great game that eventually becomes the metaverse, like Fortnite. Whereas Mark Zuckerberg was you build the metaverse and then you populate it with great experiences. And I think John Carmack, I don't know, I've been into Horizon Worlds, and there are actually a lot of worlds in there that I like. I like the idea that you can earn credits for clothing. I love unlockables and stuff for your identity and cosmetics, all that, and the fact that you can earn stuff in the games that you want to play. Like it's the Ready Player One dream. Like, and it's going to be that thing, isn't it? Of like in the short term, it's not here, but in the long term, it could be a lot closer than we think. Like in 10 years' time, it could just be like, you remember when we thought this was this actually going to happen? Like Google Glasses was laughed at when it failed, and I am always like, but I'm glad Google gave it a go, because you have to, and like, failure is actually good for progress.
And I think one of the key, that's another really, really, really good point. And I think this is one of the key things to like just keep sight on is there will be people that, much in the same way that we've stuck with VR for this long, people that really believed in the idea of the glass and were probably being laughed at back then.
Yes.
That stuck with that idea and are following it through and are seeing what's happening now with this new wave of them. And in their mind, they've always known it was coming. It was always going to get there. Not in like this weird cultish way or anything like that, but like they see the end vision of what it is and they say, when we get there, like I'll be the one that was right. I'm just patient. And that's fundamentally where I come down. Maybe not I'm the one that was right, but that's fundamentally where I come down to VR is like, when we get there, when these technologies exist, there is no chance in hell that all my friends won't want the thing that gives you a realistic fight with Darth Vader. Like, it's just not possible that they wouldn't want that, you know?
You're right. And it does, and this makes me feel old because I keep saying it'll be 20 years I started YouTube. When I started on YouTube, I just want everyone in here who supports VR right now to understand exactly to Jamie's point. When I started on YouTube, you were laughed at constantly of like, why are you wasting your time on this? Isn't it for, like, literally the cliche was always dogs on skateboards. Like, it's just for dogs on skateboards and stuff like that. And I was like, no, this is for community, and you're not just uploading videos, you're actually sharing experiences with people, and it's going to create like new niches, and like, you know, you're going to meet people over the world that are into similar stuff. Did I ever think YouTube was going to be what it is today? Absolutely not. I knew something was special, and it's just like how it evolves with culture. It's not going to be, it's going to rhyme with what you had in mind, but it's always going to be its own thing. And I think that's exactly the journey that we're on here.
Yeah, for sure. And like YouTube back in the day wasn't something that you could upload a video to from your high definition camera on your pocketable supercomputer. My
first vlogs were done on this.
Well, there you go, right? Like, exactly. And then you had to probably go through whatever like 2-hour process it was to upload it onto YouTube and have it showing online. And of course you can sit there and say, this is dumb. Yeah. And you can sit there and say, this is dumb, this is never going to catch on. Or you can just be like this progress is inevitable. Like, it's coming.
Yeah. And the other thing I'd say to everyone is like, it's very, and I have seen, me and Jamie before we came on, we're talking about like there have been certain conversations happening on X in particular around people having certain opinions on certain headsets and people questioning people's integrity and stuff like that. Most of the time, guys, just to let you know, there's nothing nefarious going on. It's just people with really great intentions that are just talking about what they enjoy. And it's not just about the person you're talking about, it's the people that are also listening in. They are going to look at, is this a community I want to be a part of? And so always come from, and I always sound like a hippie here, from compassion and like positivity, because you're going to be building bridges. Like, this is how all the console war stuff goes wrong. Is people go like, oh, all right, I'm not going to be a part of that. and it's just like you always got to see every opportunity to, like, if someone doesn't understand it, and there are some people that will say nothing constructive and perhaps are clearly you're not going to win over, but just move your energy elsewhere, because there's going to be a lot of people out there. Like, just think right now, if right now I was not gaming, maybe playing some flat screen games, and I still hadn't played VR, I'd hope one of you out there would be finding me and going, "Hey, Myles, you like these games? You should try VR. Like, you're actually in it." Like, I'd hope that you'd show me. And there's a lot of future us's out there that are yet to experience VR, and so everyone just needs to keep championing it, which for the most part everyone's doing it in a really positive way, and developers are always noticing all the positivity. It is a tough time at the moment, but fundamentally I don't think VR is in trouble. I think it's just dealing with growing pains. What do you think, Jamie?
Yeah, no, I think that's a really, really nice way to put it. And they're going to be painful, to be clear, as well.
Yes,
like what we saw at the start of the year with Metaleos and stuff like that. That, like, very likely that's just a taste of what's to come. And I don't like saying that. I don't want that to be true. But there are realities that we're going to have to deal with, as you say, it's a realignment as we realign over the next couple of years. So it's the story of these issues is not over, but the light at the end of the tunnel hasn't changed. It's still there. Yeah. It's still shining and drawing us all like moths to the flame.
Yes, absolutely. Very well put.
Maybe that wasn't very well put, because there was a flame at the end of the tunnel. Maybe I should have come up with something.
The moon. Well, no, like the moths. I was about to say follow the moon, which always weirds me out. I did look it up once, because it's like, if moths are flying to the moon, do they ever get into outer space and then like, I shouldn't have gone this way? But
you're just full of facts, aren't you?
I don't know. Maybe I made it up. Maybe I completely made it up. Just say stuff with certainty.
Yeah, fair. That's
like moths to a light bulb. We're going towards a light bulb. There we go. Yeah.
They safely land on them and have a nice time.
Canic Tunes just said, imagine Farmville in VR on Facebook. I mean, we do have farm sims. Across the Valley, I really liked. It was a cute game.
That was also the original, very first thing I ever heard anyone say when I learned that Facebook had bought Oculus. I was on Twitter and someone said Farmville VR. And I was like, why did someone say that? Then went and looked at the news and was like, oh...
Jamie, man, we got to end with this question. Then actually, there's one other question I'm going to ask. But
okay.
If you could have any flat screen game come to VR, what is your dream? And I'll let you name maybe a few, because for me, it's like I'm always like, there's one, but there's different types. Just name a few that dream.
Yeah, I'll go with Metal Gear 2, Solid 2. I feel like that, like, that's just, to me, like, maybe someone out there is making it, maybe, I don't know, like, it makes too much sense to not stick that on PSVR 2, stick that on Quest now that Quest is more powerful. It's half of the game is already designed for VR, you know, like, every element of the enemy is, like, interactive.
Yes.
It's stealth. It's got, like, defined systems that you could work with. I think, like, that's such a no-brainer for me in terms of what should be next.
Which one had VR missions? Was it Metal Gear Solid or was it number 2? I can't remember. One of them had VR missions, which wasn't actual VR. It was just like the training missions.
They had 1 and 2 both had special editions that got VR missions.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
That's a good shout. Oh god, that would be so. Hiding in the cardboard box, hiding in lockers. We've seen it elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, for me, the first one I'm going to say is, like, this is actually would be a system seller for PSVR 2, like, hands down, including people that were influencers who were given PSVR 2 headsets at launch, played a bit of Horizon, and then I think never really went back to it again. This would bring them back. It's The Last of Us VR.
Oh, yeah.
If The Last of Us came to VR, just to be in that story, the question is always, like, a lot of the beauty in that game is the cutscenes. And so, but I feel like you could still stand in them, like, have them play out, but you're there as one of the characters. But then how do you, I don't know, maybe there's no perfect answer to it, but
I feel like that's one where I would love them to go and make, and I know most people hate me for saying this, but go, like, make a short story Like go and
as in a brand new,
yeah,
like
go and get like
a VR made short story.
Yeah, like go and do something that's, and I know this is the bit people will hate, that's like 2 hours, 3 hours, and try and get like the whole core of the emotional gut punch that both of those games have, and try and do that with some of the characters, and obviously you'll meet Ellie and Joel or something like that, and really hone in on the actual like the humanity aspect of the game that makes The Last of Us what it is, right? Like have some crazy interaction with Joel or something like that where you save his life or something like that, and then do the whole like alien rogue incursion face hug a bit, but with a clicker and things like that. But I would also, just to be clear, I would 100% play the original game in VR very, very happily.
You want to be able to carry those ladders around in VR and place them somewhere else. And
yeah.
Canik was just asking, is Among Us on VR? Yeah, it is. You can play it in VR and it's a lot of fun. And someone was just saying, I want to be able to actually feel things in VR, which was actually saying, you were talking about like the tech that is yet to be developed. Have they got gloves yet? Because I was thinking, could they create gloves that when you pull the trigger on a gun, it's creating the friction, so you're feeling like you're pulling a trigger?
Yeah.
They got that?
Yeah, they 100% exist. I believe Haptics is the company. Maybe I'm getting the wrong name there, but the problem is these are all enterprise level devices, right?
Yes.
So right now they all exist. They're all a bit too bulky and they all cost about 10 grand. I really wonder if there's anyone out there that is taking apart the mechanics of a DualSense and saying, well, they managed to put like this into the like $50 controller. Can we not get that into like each finger and like just get something, just like a start of like knowing when to stop your finger? You know, I would love that.
That's a really good. The other game I'd love to come to PSVR 2, and I've always been very open about this. At Flat to VR Studios, we have a Slack channel where we're always just talking about IPs that we'd love to bring. Like, this is what's great about Flat to VR Studios. Actually, like, you know, the VR game showcase. We are massive fans of VR. Like, we're doing stuff because we're passionate about it. So it's not just we're doing a showcase because it's a job. It's like we really believe in this. And at Flat to VR Studios, it's the enthusiasm of, oh, what if we did this? And one game I'm always banging on about, not just The Last of Us, is Overcooked. Because there are these cooking games. I played just the other day, was it Mars Kitchen, that just came to PSVR 2? And I was actually pretty impressed with like how good all the food items looked. But whether I was playing that or Star Tenders, which I had a good time with working at the bar, or even Cooking Simulator, which was more on the realism, none of these games, although I think maybe the flat screen one for Cooking Simulator does, they need a multiplayer component. I want it that like you got a time limit and you see your friend in their kitchen, especially with Cooking Simulator, because you get judged on the quality of your food, is you got 5 minutes and you have all these recipes, and like obviously some recipes are more complicated. So are you going to do that, and are you going to do it as good? Like, or you're both working in a bar together, or you're trying to serve the most customers. Obviously, Overcooked would be the ultimate version of that, of like throwing stuff across the kitchen, the using frying pans. I love the DLCs with the different food types. I just like social VR is so important, and I do think I saw someone the other day list how many multiplayer PSVR 2 games there are, and it's like it's not a big amount, and that's why like Forefront excites me. Of like, I like social. Well, I say social. All multiplayer social, but I like the co-op stuff, not just PvP. And I think that Overcooked would really scratch that itch. So yeah, that would be another top one for me.
Yeah, that would be great. Like, imagine like frisbeeing a pizza over to someone.
Oh my god,
catch it, or like even like the little like when it's like the dough and they do like the little spinny trick and stuff like that. Like, so much cool stuff you could do there for sure.
Xena's in the chat and said Cookout by Resolution is awesome. I actually played a bit of it. I played the beginning. At first, is it you're just doing sandwiches, but there are different recipes? Is it? Because it's.
I think it just gets more complicated sandwiches. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to get to
it with my
parents. I'll do it with my parents.
Awesome.
I remember when I first showed my mum and dad Overcooked, playing on the couch co-op, and my mum's like, "This is amazing," and my dad's like, "Why is this a game?" Like, he just didn't understand why would anyone want to do this. So doing that
that was our big COVID thing, right? You remember like Steam got like the remote play with friends feature and stuff, and I got my whole family to buy Xbox controllers, and we were all playing like on different laptops and stuff over COVID.
Man.
Yeah, that's great.
Jason in the chat just said, my daughter learned a real salmon dish from Cooking Simulator. That's the thing, is the physicality of doing stuff. I think it was Cooking Simulator I got inspired, like not directly, like I wasn't doing it exactly, but as I was doing it, I was like, I probably could do something similar at home. Null Zero says, imagine remote surgery with VR and true one-on-one haptics on the hand and gloves. Well, there is that kind of stuff happening already. I mean, it's been for a few years. Yeah. There was a surgeon that, like, you're watching a screen. I think they do it with VR now. But on the other end, the robot is doing a couple of things. One is it's able to counter the latency, and it also takes the shake out of the human hands because we're very shaky. So I think when they first did it, they were able to... they had a grape that they'd like torn the skin on it, and they actually sewed it together using a robot, with a needle and thread, and it was because it took the shake out of the human hand. So that stuff's here. That stuff's here.
I did something similar to that at a conference once. Like
you did surgery.
Well, so there's these surgical like testing devices where it's like essentially like a pen held by a haptic arm, right?
Yeah.
So you put on a headset, and then you grab the pen, and this was knee surgery. I needed to inject like something into like the cartilage of a knee. And so like it's giving you the feedback, and I'm like, because I'm obviously bad at it because I'm not a surgeon, I'm like scraping the needle along the bone and getting like the kind of gritty sensation off of that, and then going into the kind of like softness of the cartilage, and it's like very, very realistically, and it's gross as heck. It's gross. It's terrible. But I mean, this is why I'm so like bullish on once this stuff gets better. Like I like, it's probably one of the most immersive things I've ever done. And I was in a conference blurring people running past me and stuff like that. And I like just that little extra bit of haptics just had me there so intensely.
That's wild. You just got to be careful when you're on a flight now and someone's like passed out and it's like, is anyone here a doctor? And you're like, I've done it. Oh, wait, no. That was in VR.
I don't have much experience, but if anyone's got a giant needle around, I can have a whirl.
Oh my God. Amazing. Honestly, for massive thank you, Jamie, for joining me.
Thank you.
This was organised very last minute, but Jamie's a pro and was just like, yeah, I'm easy going. We're just going to talk about the state of VR. Not a big topic or anything, but I think we covered it.
Yeah, nailed it, as always. And thank you for having me. I love you and I love being here. You're the best. It's been great working with you the past couple of years. It's been great hanging out with you. We need to see each other in person more often.
Definitely. I'm not trying to think last time we actually hung out in person. Was it when you were down in my neck of the woods? It wasn't that. No.
Yeah, it was just before. Was it like a year ago? And it was like just before GDC last year or something.
Oh my God! Yeah,
I believe you'd had a couple of beverages the night before, if you know what I mean. So you're a little.
Yeah,
you're in trouble.
Yeah. I was.
You don't mind me saying.
I'm always in trouble. The last thing we do before we wrap up, Jamie, and I still haven't got it edited, so it actually does it. So it'll be on my solo scene. But we do Vitamin G, where at the end of every Myles Dyer Live, we just think about one thing we are grateful for. And I'm going to ask you what you're grateful for. It could be a person, could be a thing. I mean, we could all just say we're grateful for VR. But everyone in the chat already knows this is coming because I ask everyone in the chat to share what they think. Callie says, I'm just reading it because it says it's to me. Goes to me on your birthday week as your live stream has been such an integral part of my week. Always something to look forward to. Very, very nice, Kate. Thank you. But yeah, people can keep it to themselves, but just the act of thinking about it can be great. Jamie, what are you grateful for? And you've already been kind to me, so you can't say.
Okay. and like, I'll cheat a little bit and just start with, first of all, just like actually being in this industry and actually like not just working at a company, but like working like being able to run this company and stuff like that. Something that's not lost on me every day is something I am incredibly grateful for. And I'm not just saying it because she's in the chat talking about our cat Majima. I was going to mention Xena. I think one of the crazy things about what we do is that she is just this creative powerhouse. And yes, I'm on screen and doing the presenting and stuff, but really everything you see in the showcase around all of that is Xena. The production quality, the pacing, everything like that is all her. She's loving this moment in the comment section because of course she is. But like even just like so we're together, we're very, very close, we work together, we run this company together. Again, another part of this whole thing that's crazy and I feel very fortunate for. But also just outside of work, particularly like this week and some of the stuff we've been going through, she's just the best, and I'm just very, very happy to have her every day.
That's very nice.
Soppy, wouldn't it?
No, that's lovely. No, Xena's awesome, and I'm not going to be afraid to put her on the spot. But Xena, I was saying to Jamie, you should definitely come on here sometime. But you can accept it later in the year or something. No pressure, but it'd be good to have you on as well. No, that's very, very nice. Thank you, Jamie. No, honestly, keep up the great work, because especially when you make a decision to go out and do something like we're going to do the VR game showcase, like success is not guaranteed. Even in a space where you see stuff and you're like, there's an opportunity here, like nothing is guaranteed. And you and Xena have just absolutely crushed it. And also just seeing how it progresses each time, it's been amazing. And I think it's that thing of short term versus long term. It's like, I know that it is going to be like, it's going to continue to grow with the industry. Like you're in the right place. Like, I know it's always very risky to say stuff like this, but when you think of like Jeff Keighley and the Game Awards, once upon a time, he was just in there, like when not many people were doing it. And it was just like, he knew that this was going to go somewhere and this is going to grow. And we live in a time now where we have niches within niches. Like you can have the most insane niches that have millions of people around the world that are engaged on it. And what happens is when you make online culture, it just takes time for the dots to be connected. The majority of VR consumers probably don't watch VR videos, but once they start doing it, because I was one of those people, you're like, oh my God, this is the best way to be informed on what I should be playing next, or tips to have a more immersive experience. And so we just got to stick the path. But like, what you two have done has been amazing, and keep it up.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, man.
P.O. Trex says, with the 10 plantain, if that's what it is, thank you very much. Jamie, just confirm we see GTA 6 on the VR game showcase.
I mean, if I don't answer, then you'll tune in. So
Yeah, that's true. Stay tuned for potential updates. Was there ever a VR mod? There must have been a VR mod for GTA 5.
For 5, yeah, there was a big one. Yeah.
That was always my theory for PSVR 2, was because I know that when Grand Theft Auto 5 came to PS4, they released the first person mode. Yeah. And then I thought when they do the PS5 version, well, they've done the first persons, like, sure. Yeah. I didn't think it like all these things, like, I think there's a good chance. That doesn't mean I'm like, oh, it's 70%. Like, when I say it's a good 20% is a good chance in my mind of like the chance of Grand Theft Auto coming to it. And also they'd done the was it the not Mafia? Was it Mafia? They did a PSVR game. What was it? Oh my God, Rocks.
L.A. Noire.
Thank you. I never played it, but I heard it was really good.
It was cool. Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, I think Grand Theft Auto VR is only a matter of time.
I thought my thing for that was Red Dead 2, because there's so much you can do in Red Dead 2 that it's actually quite hard to fit it all into the controller. Like there's things in that game where like you accidentally point a gun at an NPC and they like run away and you ruin the mission, and you're like, but I was just trying to figure out how to put my gun away. Please don't run away.
Yes.
So yeah.
That's oh God, Red Dead 2. Man, that'd be so good. Right, we're gonna wrap this up. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Do hit the like button if you haven't already, and also do check out the VR game showcase. If you consume VR in any way, you should be tuning into this. So the website is in the description of this video. Also Jamie's X/Twitter account. And yeah, anything you want to plug about VR game showcase? I don't even know what you haven't announced yet about it. Do we know if anything's coming up?
Late March. Late March is okay. When you should be expecting the next one. We'll make a formal announcement, probably roughly within a month from now. You can also go subscribe to the VR Game Showcase channel, is one thing I should probably say.
Yes, and ring the bell. Ring the bell so you don't miss out to it. I might tune into it this year. Sounds good.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, why not?
Sure.
Why not? Why not? All right. Thank you, Jamie. Take care, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Thought I saw you on the road. I was chasing sunsets all alone. The darkness faded, painting goodbye big sky. Far away but dreaming of your ocean eyes. Thought I saw you on the road. I was chasing sunsets all alone. The darkness faded, painting goodbye big sky. Far away but dreaming of your ocean eyes. Thought I saw you on the road. I was chasing sunsets all alone. The darkness faded, painting goodbye big sky. Far away but dreaming of your ocean eyes.
Okay, cool. I won't mock it just yet. Oh.
We're just hey everyone. By the way, Jamie was just saying how wonderful everyone was in the chat. So much positivity. Loved it. Been a good showing. I was just talking about like how nice it is having guests on every week now. Although is next week the last Wednesday of the month? Yeah. So it's Q&A. Any questions for me? It's just going to be me on my own next week. So we'll do that. But Jamie was like, you've had some really interesting guests on. I was like, yeah, I've got some really interesting guests coming on this year, like still, and including my dentist. I'm glad he wasn't drinking something at the time, or he would have spat it right out. Last year I was at the dentist, and my dentist is kick ass, and I was just like, random question, would you be up to come on my podcast and talk about dentistry? And she's like, I've never been asked that. I was like, yeah. And I was just like, I'm just interested in hearing the perspective, because not to get too dark, you always hear about like dentists, it's the most depressing profession because you're looking into small spaces. I'm like, is there any truth to it? And she's like really laid back and cool. And so what I've done is basically, over the years, is when I think of topics, is I look at like international days of things that fall on a Wednesday. So like there was International Dentistry Day, and I was like, get my dentist on. So could do that. I even got have I got it around here? I bought this product a few years ago. It was a first aid kit for bees. So you put it on your key ring, because you always see them sleeping, unfortunately, and then you put it on a spoon or from the pipette, and then give them life again. And so they were on Dragon's Den, which for American friends, it's Shark Tank over there. And the company was on there, and I was like, oh man, I should have reached out before, because everyone's going to be reaching out, but they're going to come on sometime.
Oh, cool.
But that's the thing. It's just like talking about things that, I don't know. I know, like VR today was nice, and we talk about that from time to time.
It's your wheelhouse, right? But...
Yeah. But it's also, I just like talking about random stuff, and yeah.
What are you going to ask the dentist?
I'm just going to...
Are you going to like just...
Oh, yeah. Can you do a live checkup? Yeah. Tell me about...
How's that cavity working out?
Oh my god! There is a dentist VR game I saw on MetaQuest, and it was horrifying. Looked at what was it? I can't bring it up
It's
now.
one of the and stuffs, isn't it? Like,
Oh my god!
you know,
Dentist
like
VR MetaQuest. The photos on it. Is it Dentist Simulator? Yeah.
Maybe.
Look. This is a thing, and I'll take this one screenshot. Sorry, man.
Whoever this is making.
This is a thing of nightmares, guys. There's a lot of things you can do, and there's people that are going to play this and go, "Oh, I've done dentistry. I can do dentistry."
Oh dear.
But anyway,
That's not good, is it?
that's it. Well, on that lovely note, have a good week, everyone. Thank you, Jamie, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye. Tune into the VR Game Showcase when he announces it.